So for all of you who are just joining us right now, I'm Devin Slavin with the Online Course Creation Summit, and we are on the day 3 live stream. And one of the things, we're going to go over a couple of cool things on the live stream. We do highlights of today's episodes. We do Q&A. If you guys have any Q&A and courses that you want to talk about the session live, we can do that. We have a couple of announcements, and probably most exciting of all is the prize. Now, I know a lot of you guys had a lot of you guys already know that we have a contest. If you go to onlinecoursecreationsummit.com/contest, you can, if you share on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter with our Course Creation Summit hashtag and our onlinecoursecreationsummit.com URL, you get entered into a drawing every day. We've got over $10,000 worth of prizes. And yeah, so very cool stuff coming your way. So, all right, so things look good in the chat. Yeah, let's dive in. By the way, if you're coming across this feed from some roundabout way where you didn't actually join us for the greater summit, I highly recommend that you go to onlinecoursecreationsummit.com and enter your name and email. You'll get access to over 40 speakers who are experts in course creation or online business. They're incredible. There's so much stuff we are doing with this summit. So if you are somebody who's ever considered creating an online course, which is basically all about how you can bring your expertise, your passion into an online program and reach a global audience and make great money doing it. If that sounds like something you're interested in, make sure you get over to onlinecoursecreationsummit.com and register there for free. Like I said, we're on day 3, you guys. I hope you're not too overwhelmed with what's going on. I know we've got, what's day 3, so we've gone through 12 interviews so far released, and it's been amazing what we have been covering already. So today's interviews, you can probably see right below this page, but you don't need to scroll down. I'll go over them. We have today's interviews. We have Janine Blackwell, createsixfigurecourses.com or JanineBlackwell.com. Amazing, amazing interview, amazing presentation from Janine. It's all about how to go from 0 to 6 figures with your course. And we talk about a bunch of other cool stuff too, which we'll dive in a sec, but I just want to go over all of them so you guys hear about it. And then we also have Jesse Krieger, he runs Lifestyle Entrepreneurs Press. You can find out more about that at lifestyleentrepreneurspress.com. And his program, or his interview, is all about creating your winning book course coaching funnel, right? So how do you actually have this incredible funnel where you have a book, your course, and coaching, bring it all together as in one. And of course, you go into more than that topic as well as the interview, but we'll talk about that in a second. We have Dana Malstaff, and she is the boss mom. She's got bossmom.com. It's boss-mom.com. She is amazing. She's got, yeah, you got to check out your book, especially if you're a mom and you want to be an entrepreneur, or consider yourself an entrepreneur. You got to check out her book. I've just glanced through it. I bet it's got some good information for me, but since I'm not a mom yet, no, just kidding. Anyway, so her interview is all about finding your course, deciding on the perfect course topics, and outline design. We also go into some really cool things like testing course ideas. And speaking of, we also have the interview from Pat Flynn of SparkPassiveIncome.com, and he is all about that, the similar topic of, will your online course fly? How to use idea validation and pre-selling your course. So that's an incredible interview. You got to check those out. But it's interesting today. We've lined up 2 different speakers that talk about the pre-selling process. So really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. So that's the overview of what we covered today. And I just want to dive in with a couple of highlights. And let me get back to the chat though here. Make sure everything's going all right there. Got a couple folks in the chat. All right. Okay, cool. Great. I'm glad it's going. Glad it's working now. We had a little bit of a challenge with the sound. You know what? Speaking of, okay, before I go in further depth about these interviews, I want to share a resource. So let me grab this here. Video speed. So it depends on what browser you use, but if you watch a lot of videos, or yeah, like a lot of different training videos, things like that online, like the Online Course Creation Summit, this resource here is really cool. This is for Google Chrome. It's called the Video Speed Controller. And there's another one, I bet it's for Firefox too. They probably have something. If you want to Google, you know, like Video Speed Controller Firefox, you can probably look for your link. But basically what it does is it adds this little thing to the top of your window that shows the speed of the video, and you can change the speed up and down. So, you know, if we've got a long interview ahead of you, you know, we have 4 new interviews today with the Online Course Creation Summit. You can speed that up to like 1.5, you know, times the normal speed, or even 2 maybe. We might sound crazy, but you could still understand us. I just wanted to throw out that resource because I love it, and it has saved me a lot of time. If you can imagine that, you know, like think about watching a 1-hour video. You watch it at twice the speed, it takes half an hour. It's pretty cool. Not for everyone, but just wanted to throw it out there. Okay, cool. So let's dive back into today's, and over the going into a little bit more of the highlights of today's interviews, so you know a little bit more about which ones you might need to pick to listen to first. And my advice, by the way, is all of them. But all right, so Janine Blackwell's, let's start with hers. Going from 0 to 6 figures with your course. Now, you've got to check out this this video if you are interested on hearing more of the business side of creating a course. And what I mean by the business side, by the way, I use that term because that was an exact question in our Facebook group. The business side, what I mean by that is kind of like, how do you actually, you know, how do you launch a course that helps you meet your lifestyle needs, your business needs, your financial needs. And Janine talks about why 6 figures, why create 6-figure courses. What's the number? Why is that a magic number for us? And she mentions that, you know, 6 figures, you know, that might mean a ton to some people, and it might not mean anything to other people because we're all in different places. But the symbology of it for a lot of people, 6 figures relates to freedom, our freedom. So that's where that number comes from. And it's, you know, when a lot of us associate that number with having freedom, having, you know, being able to have, do the things that we want to do in life in this day and age. So that's a little bit on the why 6 figures. But Janine really, we talked about a lot of incredible things. We talked about how do you, you know, if you have this huge list of things you could talk about, or this topic where you could talk all, you know, for days and days about and teach about it in your course, how do you actually narrow that down into a succinct topic that people want to purchase right now? You know, wouldn't you like to know that? Actually, that's what a lot of today is about. You know, I would say the bigger themes are like your lifestyle, and having a business that meets that lifestyle, and also testing course ideas and finding out. So Janine talks about, and I'll share one of the highlights of it, is talks about that really what we want to do is create our courses to be answering and speaking to our audience's top questions. You know, what are the questions they're going on Google and asking? What are the things they're going in Facebook groups and asking? And that our courses really should be specifically designed to answer those questions and solve those problems, the ones that they're asking for most, right? Because you could, you know, this is another thing she mentions, you know, you could find you really know what the answer is to most people's situations that you're working with, but they might not know the actual solution. Janine uses the alkaline diet as an example. You know, a lot of people that don't feel well might not know that they need an alkaline diet, but as a health practitioner, you know that that's what they need. So you don't go out there and create a Facebook ad like, get your alkaline diet going on. Well, maybe you do, and maybe that works, but you know, you really have to reverse it and think of the questions they might be asking. So that's a little bit about Janine's interview. Definitely check out what she's doing there, and she put together a free gift for you guys that you want to check out. It goes further in depth on like a whole process that she didn't, you know, rather we save time on the interview. So she's sending you that process if you go get it on her link, if you go check out her personal page on the Online Course Creation Summit. So that's Janine. So glad to have her. And she, by the way, is in the Facebook group right now. I saw her. She added even more value for us by laying out this awesome post with other tips and steps, stuff like that. So you got to check that out in the Facebook group. By the way, if you don't know how to access the Facebook group, you can go to onlinecoursecreationsummit.com/Facebook. I'll put that link in the chat right now. Where is that chat? Now that I'm all over the place with my computer. All right. Boom. Okay, cool. So that'll redirect you to the Facebook group, which, by the way, is free. And at least it's going to be free for the time of the summit. And after the summit, you know, well, during the summit, we're doing a lot of announcements in, you know, when we release things, that's where you discuss these interviews. But the other thing is, if you, after the summit's done, we are still going to use it as a course creation group where you can talk course ideas, kind of find out the latest tips and, you know, be up on the discussion with that. So I highly recommend you join that. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. We've got Jesse Krieger, who, like I said, was talking about a lot of things. He runs Lifestyle Entrepreneurs Press, so I think a lot of us can relate to that concept of being a lifestyle entrepreneur. And that's one of the things we talk about in the interview is, you know, really creating courses to best facilitate the lifestyle that we want. And he is, I'm going to call him an expert in that. I don't know if he's self-proclaimed. I think he probably is, you know, an expert at being a lifestyle entrepreneur, since he wrote a book called Lifestyle Entrepreneur, which you better check out. Anyway, so we talk about a bunch of things. We talk about different ways to set up courses, you know, lay out outlines, things like that. We talk about how a book can relate to an online course and how it can relate to coaching and how you can link all those together successfully to basically be able to reach different, let's see, what's the best word for it? Different people at different levels of need in your audience. So it's like some people, they just want to buy your book. You know, it's a lower price item. You can get a lot of information in a book. You can learn a lot, but sometimes it's not the easiest way. You know, you don't get necessarily a community experience with a book, and you don't usually go through a process necessarily that solves your problems, which an online course is usually geared to do exactly that. So it's usually quite a bit more expensive than a book. And, you know, so the course usually is directed at people to solve a project or a problem, excuse me. And then coaching, you know, usually if you're launching an online course, there's usually people who want to go further. They might want to have a done for you service, right? They might, where you're actually providing, you know, the thing that you were training them in the course, you'll actually do it for them. Some people do done with you, where it's like, you know, maybe they're not doing all the work for you, but they're coaching you along the way. You know, some people might just want an accountability partner. They might just want you to consult with them so they can pick your brain on their course or on their ideas. So that's why it's cool to add another tier of coaching. I highly recommend that you get practice in those skills, maybe get a certification. That's a lot of coaches that are certified coaches. They pretty much say you need to be certified. But really, you don't have to think of it like that. I'm inviting you to just consider that you have a lot of advice and that you can, you know, connect with people via Skype or on phone, and you can really support them in their journey. Because remember, being an online course, you don't have to be an online course creator. You don't have to be the top expert in the world. You just have to be at least a couple steps ahead of your audience and have had success in that area that you're sharing with them. So that's Jesse's interview. Make sure to check that out if any of that resonates with you and is where you're at in your course creation process and journey. Next, let's talk about Dana Malstaff's interview, all about choosing your course topic. She's talking about testing out your course topics, very cool stuff in there. I mean, this is stuff, I said this yesterday, but I mean, I'm going to probably keep saying this. I mean, the stuff that we're covering in here, just so you guys know, if you haven't taken a course that helps you, that facilitates you through the process of course creation, what these experts like Dana are giving away here are basically big pieces of what you would normally have to pay for to learn how to create an online course. So I think it's really cool that Dana was sharing some of this stuff with us for free. And to go into some of the detail and highlight a few of those things, you know, Dana shared with us, you know, this process. It's really simple of how to hone in on a course topic. And really it's like, you know, we were talking about that creating a course is really a commitment, and you want to, on one hand, have expertise in what you're doing, you know, that you know something that you can really help people with, and also that you really need to be passionate and care about it, because you're probably going to be on podcasts talking about your course. You're probably going to be creating webinars for on the topic. You know, basically you want to choose a topic that you're going to be that you're passionate about, and you think you're going to be passionate about for at least a year or maybe a couple years. I know it's hard to choose, sometimes hard to know what we're going to be passionate about in the future, but you probably can get a sense. So Dana talks about a pretty simple process of just generating a couple different lists. You know, what am I skilled at? You know, what am I passionate about? And you can go into more detail. She goes into more detail about it, but just being able to compare those things. And then she goes right into talking about how you can test these things with your audience. And even if you don't have an audience, you know, if you don't have an audience, you can simply go find where your audience hangs out. You want to make sure you know the rules of the group that you might interact with, but you can post in a group, ask a question. You can sometimes even poll the group. You know, what do you guys think about these topics? What's the most, you know, what are you struggling with most? I think is the question a lot of people ask. And you can get a ton of feedback. And not only that, it will help build buzz about your upcoming course. So that's just a little sliver of what Dana talked about in her episode. If you're interested in those things, you better check it out, because these day 3 episodes will be live for less than 48 hours at this point. They got released on Wednesday at midnight, so they will close down at Thursday at midnight. So make sure you check them out now. And last but not least, let's talk about Pat Flynn's book and Pat Flynn's topic of testing out your online course to know if it will fly. So the first thing I have to say is with Pat Flynn is I highly recommend you go grab his book. You know, what is it? It's probably less than $10 on Kindle, probably less than $15 if you go grab it in a bookstore or on Amazon or whatever. But, you know, Pat Flynn, this book is really cool. And I'm going to be honest, this is going to sound weird. This is going to sound bad at first, but when I first picked up the book, I was like, oh, I don't know if I need this. And then when I read it, when I got into it, I was like, wow, this is incredible, because he basically, you know, you'll hear about this in his interview if you haven't checked it out yet, but we talked about, well, why did you create this? Why did you create this book? Because creating a book is quite a bit of a process, and how do you choose that topic? And he said, well, the same exact reason I wrote the book is people were asking me for it. You know, he was paying attention to what people were asking for. And he said that the biggest problem people had with creating online products, physical products, courses, businesses, all these things, is that they would put all this time and energy into it and then it not work out, realize people didn't really need it. And so he, in his book, Will It Fly, walks you through a series of processes and exercises similar to what we were talking about with Dana, but yeah, basically how to test your idea at different levels. Gosh, there's a number of processes, so you guys got to check that out. But you know what's cool is, even if you don't have the book yet, which, like I said, I highly recommend you get it, he goes through a couple of those processes in our interview right there. So you can basically catch the interview. It's all focused on course creation and validation. You can get that. You can get quite a bit of some of the information in the book. Now, of course, I recommend that you get the book so you can go further. And by the way, on the back end of getting the book, once you open up the book, it gives you instructions on how to get this this free course that comes with the book. So it even goes further. So there's a lot of stuff packed in that book. That's why I'm recommending it to you. But yeah, I think I'm really passionate about this topic of basically idea validation and pre-selling. And you know, one of the things I want to make sure I'm not just these things aren't going over your head. You know, there's a lot of, we're all coming in here at different levels of experience, and that's great. Wherever you are is totally great. And you know, one of the things I want to just clarify, if you're not familiar with the word pre-selling is about, you know, selling something first before it's actually created. It might be a little bit, there's probably very different ways to describe it. That probably doesn't encompass everything, but I think that's the basic way of putting it. And you might think, oh, this is a little bit shady. Why am I selling something before I've done it? Now, we don't really recommend that you just go out and try to sell things without doing anything of it. But what the point is not creating everything. Don't create your life's work and then go try to sell it. What you can do is really do your diligence, find out what your audience needs. You can test out ideas, create an outline. You can get feedback on it. By the way, I'm jumping over to Dana's presentation. I think she said something like, you know, have your audience give you feedback with everything along the way. Your logo, your course name, your topics. Like, you can just create with them, and they'll tell you what they want. But anyway, back to Pat. So in pre-selling, we're doing our diligence. We're creating the outline. You really are building the course up front in design, but you might not actually go and record all the videos. You might not go create all of the workbooks ahead of time. But because what you're doing is you're going on a journey with a pilot group of people. And by the way, this is what I do in my Course Creators Bootcamp, is we go through this process of running it as a pilot first. And this pilot, basically, you create it, you co-create it with your audience, and continually, basically at every major step, get their feedback. And that way, if you thought that they needed this, this, and this, but really they needed this, you can provide that thing, you know, and adjust course. If you're a little bit off or a lot off, you can actually adjust your course along with your audience. So with your people, your students in your course. So that's a little bit on pre-selling. Jumping around a bit. Now, I think it was, what was it yesterday? Was it Sarah Cordner, by the way? I'm just going to jump back to yesterday because she talked about how she bought a 5-figure course and had a bad experience with pre-selling because it wasn't ready, and it wasn't ready, and it wasn't ready. So do not get yourself stuck in that. Now, there's, you know, you just don't want to get over your head once you're pre-selling. There's a really clear process, and there's do's and don'ts to that. But we can't get into it now. Pat probably gets into a little of it. Sarah gets into a little of it. Dana talks about this as well. So check out those interviews. Highly recommend for anyone who's creating courses or already created courses to get into testing ideas, pre-selling, and educating yourself on that, because it's made all the difference for me and for my students. And yeah, so highly recommend that. So that is an overview of today's episodes. And let's see, let's go on to the next thing. Let's dive into the contest. Oh, you know what I should always do is, cool. Oh, Dana's on with us live, but she had to hop off. Oh my gosh, didn't realize you were with us, Dana. Shoot, could have had you on here. But glad you're joining us. Hope you liked what I shared about your episode. It was awesome. So let's see. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, we're going to the contest. So you guys, onlinecoursecreationsummit.com/contest. I'll put it in the chat. creationsummit.com/contest. I spell everything right. That's going to tell you all the details about how to participate in our sharing contest. We've got over $10,000 worth of prizes for you here, and we're giving away at least one a day. Yesterday, we gave away a ticket to Entrepreneuza 2016 in Santa Barbara, California. The day before that, we gave away Marisa Murgatroyd's website in a weekend course. That was $2,000 course. So really cool stuff. And today we're going to give away something, but I just want to invite you to go check out the contest page and basically give me 1 second to pull up my contest. So we have a random picker that picks the winner. And I better mention this about the contest. So with the contest, you can enter as many times as you want, and the more times you enter, the more times we put your name in the drawing. So basically this course creation, I'm looking at the page right now. So all you really have to do to participate is to share the link to onlinecoursecreationsummit.com and the Course Creation Summit hashtag. That's just hashtag Course Creation Summit or # Course Creation Summit, and share that, and we will enter you in the drawing. Now, okay, so, and you'll see a list of prizes. We actually have a couple that we still need to offer up. And today's prize is going to be actually with yesterday's speakers, Brad and Andy from the Great E-Course Adventure. Now, if you haven't checked their episode out, you've got to check it out. If you haven't checked out their work yet at thegreatecourseadventure.com, you've got to see this, because I really think this is the direction we're heading with online courses. Because you can see that as soon as you get on their page, they're taking you on an adventure with them. You know, they've got this they've got this really fun way of approaching, an engaging way of approaching course creation, but also course facilitation. You don't have to, I'm not going to explain the whole thing to you, but all you have to do is listen into their episode or go check out their website now. Anyway, the prize we are offering today is the Great E-Course Adventure Trail Pass and one coaching session with them. And I can't say actually if it's with both of them or with one of them. I don't know that detail, but it might be with both of them, it might be with one of them. Either way, I'm sure it's going to be incredible. So we are going to give away this, and it's a $1,000 value, the Great E-Course Adventure Trail Pass and coaching session with Brad and Andy at thegreatecourseadventure.com. So that's today's prize. Let me bring out our picker. Oh, cool. We're getting in the chat. You know, Dan says he signed up for their adventure email course yesterday, and it's a lot of fun. Awesome, Dan. This is cool. So I'm going to bring in, we are going to bring up the random picker, randompicker.com. I'm advertising for them by telling you that. Got to just sign back in. It kicked me out because I was talking too long to you guys. So who's ready for this? So I am going to bring up the list of names for you guys. Okay, ready? And I am going to do the drawing. Here we go. Are you ready? This is exciting. It's processing. Now I have to click to see the results. All right. All right. We have a winner. Today's winner is Jesus Gross, or Jesus Gross. Jesus Gross, probably. Jesus, you just won the Great E-Course Adventure Trail Pass and coaching session with Brad and Andy. Congratulations. It's awesome. I'm really excited for you. I bet that's going to be incredible. So I will reach out to you, Jesus or Jesus. Don't know which way I should say your name. I'm guessing Jesus. And yeah, congratulations. That's great. Thank you for playing, everyone. And I want to let you know that if you have been sharing, we are not we're not starting from scratch every day, although we probably could. We're just adding more and more. We're adding your name to the drawing over and over again. So if you've been playing, we've been adding you in. So don't worry. We're not skipping you over. We're not missing you. So that is today's winner, Jesus Gross. And we'll find out more about Jesus, but congratulations. And again, we'll be giving away a prize tomorrow and Friday. We're going to pause for Saturday and Sunday, and we'll be back on giving prizes away every day, Monday through Friday next week. And then I can't believe it, it's going to be the end of the Online Course Creation Summit on Friday the 17th. But we are only on day 3, got a long way to go. We've got incredible guests tomorrow coming up. And last thing I'll say is if you want instant access to all of them, you can easily upgrade for it's $200 off during the time of the summit. While the summit is going live, you can get it for $200 off. Get instant access to all of the interviews. You get the MP3 downloads. We have transcripts on their way. I feel like I keep saying that, but I'm really waiting any day for them to come back so we can upload them to you guys. We've got bonus master classes, and with a lot of incredible speakers. Not all the speakers are able to do master classes with you guys, but we just had a new one added yesterday, which was Michael Weiss with Client Engagement Academy. And he did all of digital marketers certifications if you haven't checked it out. So I'm really excited about that. Also excited about our other master classes that you'll see when you get the All Access Pass. So that's my little spiel on the All Access Pass. But besides that, I just want to thank you all so much for joining me for today's live stream for the Online Course Creation Summit. And most of all, we're really excited to have you with participating in the summit. We are here to deliver the most value possible to you guys as you're creating your course, putting together your course. Maybe if you already have a course, marketing your course, just reach out if you need anything. Facebook is a great place to start up the discussion, and we will catch you tomorrow on live stream day number 4. All right, cheers, you guys. Bye now. All right, here we go.